Hi there and welcome to my channel. Today's project is for the VIcki Boutin design team, and this week I want to show you a project that is going to show you how versatile the Let's Wonder collection is. And my idea for this is actually, I love breakfast. One of my favorite meals is breakfast. Any way I will take it. And we actually found a spot 2 blocks from our apartment building where they actually have really amazing breakfast. So I didn't take a picture of the place, I took a picture of the food because I know I'm going to remember the food. So I'm going to use it, I want to document it. And for this I'm actually inspired by this Polaroid paper. I don't know the name because I'm using the paper pad for this, but I really loved all the little sentiments inside the Polaroid frames, and I love the color. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fussy cut all the Polaroid frames from the picture. I might not gonna use all of them, but I'm gonna have them ready for another layout. So you're gonna see that I'm using my actually my scoring trimming board for that, and that's gonna speed up the process. And once I have them ready, this idea that I have is to create a horizontal line of Polaroids that have my picture in that line of Polaroids. So I'm just building the idea, and you're gonna see that I'm not using white cardstock for this. I'm actually gonna use a color cardstock, and this cardstock is actually from American Crafts, but it's not regular cardstock. It is I bought a pad at Joann's I'm gonna say probably a couple years ago when I was in the States, and it has like a coating on it. It's like double paper, it's like double-sided, and the coating lets the mixed media sit a little bit. It doesn't warp as much, and I love the color. It's like a sea foam kind of bluish tone. So you're gonna see that I'm gonna add some mixed media just to make everything stand out, and my choice in this case is gonna be working with the texture paste. And I'm starting with blueberry pie, and all I'm gonna do is just a little bit. I'm gonna dilute it so it gives me the consistency of watercolor, and then I'm gonna apply it into, I'm gonna say a splatter or a puddle, whichever way you wanna look at it. And I'm starting with splatters, but I want to make sure that I extend the application a little bit and a little bit faster. So my choice is going to be to bring a piece of plastic just to help me spread the application. But I really don't like those lines that it forms, so you're gonna see that I go back to the splatters, but I am actually gonna help, like I said, moving the paint a little bit faster with the kissing technique, if that's what you want to call it. And very simple background. Again, a lot of this is gonna be covered just because the nature of the background, but you're gonna see that I'm gonna extend it. I'm gonna bring the picture just to make sure that the colors kind of pop from the sides of the Polaroid frames. Once I have it ready, and you see right now I'm just applying because I know the picture is taller than the Polaroid, so I gotta add a little bit more of the blue. And once I had it ready, I had this idea. I'm sure that if you go back a few projects from me, I've used watercolor markers from VIcki, I actually use my heat gun just to create that illusion of an alcohol ink when I used it on foundation paper. So I'm gonna try the same idea for this background. It was just an experiment. It doesn't give you the same look, but it does create those defined lines of the puddle that I love having that little definition. It doesn't give you the look of alcohol ink, but it gives you that definition line. It helps you move some of the paint, and I love that. And I actually like the way it looks. You might not, like I said, it's not the same finish as the watercolor and the heat gun, but something close enough, and it's actually something that I just play with. I had an idea, I wanted to see if it worked, and you're gonna see right now that I'm just using my heat gun. I'm not gonna bake the paper. I don't use like until it's completely dry, just to give me that definition, kind of dry the edges, and then I set it aside to dry for a little bit. One of the beauties of working with the heat gun in this case is that it dries the paper really fast, so I'm able to work faster. Because if you've known my work, then you know that I'm very active, or I'm always recommending that you let the paint dry on its own. But in this case, I just wanted to try it, like see if you created the same look that I that I achieve with the watercolor markers. It's similar, not the same, but I like it anyways, so I'm gonna continue working with that. Now you're gonna see that I bring a little bit of the pink tone, and this is sugar strawberry, and when I dilute it, I'm gonna follow the same fashion. I didn't like the fact that it gave me this purplish tone that is not in the collection, so I added a little bit of crushed pineapple just to make it more into a coral and orange tone, and I'm just gonna keep working with that. I'm gonna say that I speed up the process. I'm gonna add a little bit extra yellow just to make it more orange, because there's a lot of orange in the collection, and just I'm gonna create the puddle following the horizontal line. Again, once I'm happy with what it looks like, I'm gonna hit it with my gun just to create the same look that I already have with the blueberry pie application, sorry. And then you're gonna see that I'm gonna take it off camera and just add a little bit of blue Hawaiian, which is that teal tone, and it's not gonna be that noticeable just because the tone of the paper is kind of similar, but it's gonna be there. And again, I'm gonna add my splatter, I'm gonna add my heat gun just to dry it, and you're gonna see that it creates those, like I'm gonna say, that really dark demarcation of the puddle or the mixed media in the background, and I like that look. So once that is ready, I'm gonna set it aside to dry completely. I'm actually gonna come in with the rose gold metallic paint. This is some of the new products that VIcki released in this collection, Let's Wander, and I wanted to bring the stencil that looks like this city map, just to bring that urban, or make it look like it was actually in the city. It's not just about the food, it's also about the destination. So all I'm going to do is create the impression of the map using the paint and my stencil brush. So you're going to see that I add a little bit of the paint, and then I go on a circular motion just to extend it. I'm going to stipple the paint in some areas, and that adds a little bit of texture but also deepens the color. And you're going to see that I'm not going to go all over the horizontal line, just in certain areas. And the beauty of using the brush is that it creates this faint application, and although a lot of this is going to be covered by the Polaroids, you're going to see the shine in between the layers. You're also going to see the corners of the map, and that's all I want. I just want the faint application. I know that I'm gonna get some comments of people saying you did all the mixed media and then you're gonna cover it, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with covering my mixed media. The way I think about it, and I think I've created some videos, is that sometimes I just take a layout that I don't like something, and I'll break it apart and rebuild it and see what I can do with it. So maybe I'll do with this. I don't think so. I like it, but I don't mind covering my mixed media. I like the process of creating the background. So you're gonna see that once I added my the stencil, I'm actually bringing the gunmetal. This is another one of the metallic paints in that set, and I'm just gonna add a few splatters. I diluted it just to be watery, like watercolor, and I'm just adding a few splatters. It's kind of a grayish tone, and that's just gonna give me the it just needs a little bit of the dark tone, so a little bit of splatters. And then I went out of camera while this dried and just play with the idea of how I want everything set up, and I realized that the picture, because of all the illustrations and colors in the Polaroid frames, was getting lost. So my idea is I'm gonna add an application of the star stencil using texture paste, just a little bit just behind the picture. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna bring the attention to the picture and kind of make it stand out in the sea of Polaroids. So I'm not gonna fill the page with stars. I'm just gonna add enough so that they come from behind the picture, kind of peeking behind the picture, kind of popping from behind, and that's about it. So you're gonna see that I'm not gonna go all the way from the top to the bottom, just a little bit longer, or a little bit longer than what the picture is, so that when I set my picture in place, it's actually gonna bring the attention there. Now while I'm working with the paste, I'm thinking that I kind of need to break that blue square or seafoam square, and to bring more of the idea of a city onto this page. So I went into the paper pad again, and I really love this paper that has like a cityscape and is all in a rainbow, very distressed look. So I'm gonna use it to actually frame my layout. So you're gonna see that I trim my layout, but I run I'm gonna say 1/4 to 1/2 inch on all the sides of the background, and then I cut a frame from this paper, and I'm just gonna actually glue the layout right onto the frame. And one of the things gonna help is actually gonna break the white canvas of the background. One. Second, it's gonna frame it and make all the attention come to the row of Polaroids, and it's gonna bring that urban feel that I'm looking for. Not urban, but just the city look that I'm going for. So now that I have that in place, I remember seeing in the 6x8 paper pad that there were little sentiments or cut apart pieces that were not in the ephemera or in the 12x12, and one of them is that little receipt or a gift, and I love receipts because I do a lot of traveler's notebooks, so they're a great piece to layer, to add you know, your lines of journal. And because I take a lot of pictures of food, it actually comes in really handy. So I cut a few of them. I cut the receipt and also a little sentiment that said on the menu, which we're talking about food. And all I'm doing right now is just building the idea that I have. So another thing that I did is I backed the picture with a piece of the flyaway paper, and that's that yellow paper with the paper planes. I love it, just because it's gonna make it stand out. And I added some foam adhesive behind it just to make it pop from the page. Now that that's in place, and I'm gonna set it right at the center of the stars, I'm actually gonna start attaching the Polaroids onto the page. And for that, I'm using foam adhesive just to the corners of it, but I'm gonna use a different height or a different width of foam adhesive, and that's gonna help me create the different levels between the picture and the Polaroids, and it's gonna help me add movement. Once I have that, I'm actually gonna bring that little sticker from the sticker sheet that says "Let's Eat," and that's gonna be the title of my layout. And you're gonna see that I'm just gonna start embellishing. I'm gonna start bringing some of the stickers from the tablet. I'm actually also gonna bring some chipboard. I thought the idea of getting a thumbtack. There's a chipboard that has thumbtacks just to hold the receipt in place. I'm gonna bring actually chipboard sticker from previous collections. I'm gonna bring them from Flour and Honey. That was one of my favorite things in the collection, was the chipboard, because I love phrase stickers that have horizontal like little pieces of tape with that. So I'm gonna bring some of them onto this page. I'm actually also gonna bring some puffy stickers from, I think it's not Let's Wonder. What was the previous Color Kaleidoscope or Field Notes, and it was the one that had the entire sheet of black puffy stickers that were sentences. I'm just gonna bring some of the little stars because I want to bring some of that black that I added with the gunmetal onto this page. There's a lot of color, so a little bit of black is gonna break the monotony of the color, like it's gonna kind of give you a little pause for your eye in a way. And you're gonna see that I'm just gonna add it along the horizontal line. Once I have that in place, I'm actually gonna add my lines of journal right underneath the title. And my last thing I'm gonna add is I'm actually gonna bring the stamp set and use the sentiment, the happy moments at the bottom of the lines of journal, and also at the top of the receipt. And that's about it. I love how this turned out. I love the color, I love the line of papers, I love the sentiment, I love the food that's in the picture. My favorite place for your breakfast, 2 blocks away from my house. I love this collection. It's so versatile. I hope that you are able to get some. I know there's a little bit of problems with getting it because of so many things happening at the same time, but if you get a chance to get it, you're gonna love it. Very versatile, and there is so much you can do with it. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you soon. Take care, guys.